This is the 210 hertz, not 200 hertz, 210 hertz high refresh rate gaming ultra-wide from Sceptre. Now it's an IPS display, which is meaning it's going to have a lot of color, so a lot of rich color. That's great. It's going to have a very high peak brightness. I think it actually outdid what it's supposed to test at, because it did really, really good in the peak brightness test, so that's great. It does have some gamer-friendly features. It's got their logo lit up across the back, so if you're up against a wall, not many people are going to see that, but if you do have a space where somebody's maybe able to see the back of your monitor, they have this white panel in the back. Now, I don't know if it's RGB. I don't think it is. We'll take a look at the OSD software. I don't think you can change that. So that is the monitor itself. One of the things right away that you'll notice, if it'll chase me around here, it probably will, is that it has a new on-screen display guide. This is new in the current Sceptre monitors, is this new OSD, and very unique compared to all of their other competitors. They used to have a 3-button. This is a joystick. It's consistent across all of them. It gives you all of the information you need right across the top here. So that's been really, really nice to have. So that's one right away. So if I were to look at the back of this display, one of the things you're going to notice is it's going to have that on-screen joystick right here. That's going to allow me to do all the selection, turn the monitor on and off. Let's go over a little bit. We got VISA mounting capability. Now you can take this off and you can mount directly to this and have your VISA plate. It mounts really low, so if you have a gas strut monitor arm, this is awesome because it's going to let it go really high. If they mount up here in the middle, a lot of monitors still can't get that high. The nice thing about having a low VISA monitor mount is it's going to let you move that monitor up into your sight range, especially on a big ultra-wide like this. It's going to have 2 HDMI, 2 display ports in here. Make sure that you're using the HDMI to get the HDMI 2.0 specs here, rates. If you're going to go with the 210, I believe you're going to have to be on the DisplayPort, but we'll go check the site on that. And then lastly, you'll notice it has an audio out. That's usually for your headphones. Another trick feature here, speakers. You almost never see speakers, and I've used these quite a bit. To have speakers is a really nice feature there. That's an overview of it. One other thing I want to point out is how thin it is. Look how remarkably thin that monitor is. They just keep getting thinner and thinner and thinner. Now you can tell that is a flat monitor. So what is the monitor rating overall if you look at it? Gamut, great. Tone response, about mid. White point came in about mid. Contrast came up at 5. And the color accuracy, it gave it a 4 out of 5 on this. So color accuracy average of 2 is not bad. Again, if you change the brightness higher, it will actually start to fall off. I've seen numbers as bad as 10 on the brightness. So that is the monitor from Sceptre. Again, 210 hertz gaming monitor. And we're going to go to the UFO test. What's the UFO test, John? Well, the UFO test is where we can take a look at ghosting. So ghosting and overdrive and all of those things are how the monitor processes pixels and how it shifts from one to the other. So there's a contrast shift, but it doesn't change dramatically in color. With the VA panel, you were looking at a monitor that had orange. When you turned it, it would turn to like yellow. It would completely change color, and then it would come back. So if you're going to be in an area where people are looking at this at an angle or off to a side, or maybe you're gaming with a bunch of people in a room, this one's going to do much better than that VA panel. Now this thing is just flying. It's trying to hit that 210 FPS, and you know what, I have to say, they did an amazing job of this. So I'm going to bring my phone up so you guys can see it here. There was the picture I just took, and what do you notice on the top, middle, and bottom there? So we're not seeing a lot of ghosting. There's 1 or 2 frames in there, but what I'm not seeing is long trails behind the item. So the little UFO is actually, it's what it's expecting, because my frame rate, shutter speed on the camera, we'd have to get into all that stuff, but it is showing there's like 2 or 3 of the image, but it's not streaky in between. So that's actually a pretty good result on that test. And actually it does not appear to be stretched here. I'm looking at the image right now. Now I did not tell it to calibrate the display. So that's one other step that you'd have to do. Look at the Heaven benchmark here. And one thing that'll happen, some people are going to ask, can I use this with Xbox One? Can I use this with PlayStation 5? Yes, you can use an ultra-wide 21:9, so this is not 16:9, it's another third bigger basically. So can I use this 21:9, with my Xbox? Some games will support it, most do not. So they're working on more ultra-wide support. So if you're a console gamer, I would not necessarily recommend this as your monitor. Now, if you're a PC gamer, I'm listening to the speakers. This is great. I'm hearing the volume of them. That's really easy to change. So again, I'll test the speakers out for quality later, but the fact that it has speakers and a monitor in this price range is pretty cool. I'm also going to change the brightness down so that you guys can see it a little better while it's running. So there we go. That is overall the monitor. Now, one thing you'll notice here, if I can point it upright to the top down, that on-screen display is showing me that I've got 210 hertz here. So I am at the full refresh rate, and I'm doing 2560 by 1080. That's definitely something we need to talk about. There's the overdrive settings and the AMD FreeSync. This one is 2560 by 1080. So what they've done is they're going to have in this, they're going to have 2560 pixels, still only 1080 high though. So that's one of the nice things about it, is that it's not going to be as hard for your monitor, your video card to drive this monitor as it is for some of the other ones. So if you got a 3440 by 1440 panel, you're going to have a lot more pixels to drive. Now, is the image going to get dramatically clearer? Probably not on 30 inches. So this is a great size. Still fits on most desks. You don't have to go with two monitors. You can go with one still. Another interesting thing, and I'm going to exit out of this, that I do like about these is if you have two web pages up, let's say, I can bring up two applications side by side. So in this case, an ultra-wide, in my opinion, is really good if you're doing first-person shooter games and maybe you're still in school and you need to do some work in between. So I've got my document over here that I can write, and I can do my research in this side monitor, and I don't need multiple monitors. And you can do all the docking features in Windows to do that. So